They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They care way too much but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
A lot easier. Guys, welcome to the WellRED podcast, WellRED comedy.com. That's where you can go to sign up for our newsletter so you can see us whenever we do get back on the dusty trail again. Also, check out our sister podcast if you can't get enough of us. I've got Through the Screen Door with Corey Ryan Forster. Drew has Into the Biscuit with DJ Lewis. And, of course, Trey has Evening Skews with Smart Mark AG. Boys, how are you?
Yeah, not good. Don't hit. It's the first. It's the first day. As we record this, it's January 4th. By the way, happy birthday, Thompson. Today's his
right
birthday.
on.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Who's a big boy? He's a big boy. He's been bitching about toilet paper and stuff all day already. So, you know,
yeah,
he's in rare form. He's in somebody's house doing work stuff, and these people who are regular people fold their toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
Or like not fold, you know, like in a hotel.
Yeah.
Not a point, like a little like
an animal, like
yeah,
an origami.
Like origami. Like every time you take a shit, you got to do a little origami project at the end of it to make the toilet paper roll not look like a toilet paper roll, and that has just infuriated.
They're making him do it.
Man.
Wait,
no, I didn't make him do it. He just used their bathroom and saw that and was like texting me and Charles like, y'all fucking believe this shit? What the fuck kind of? He's like, they've gussied the shithole up, boys.
First off, it hit for me.
But they're it's just somebody like, instead of playing on their phone doing that, right?
No, I don't think so. I already kind of feel.
So it is for like,
no one who could ever connect this back to him in real life is ever going to listen to this. So it's
right.
But still, I don't like. I already was feeling weird about making it identifiable because it's a work thing for him that he's shitting all over because they don't hit for him. But
well, I'm just like,
but no, these people are not. They're like fancy.
If you went to my mom's house and you saw the toilet paper was a swan, you wouldn't think, oh, I bet Laura was just taking a shit and got bored. You'd be like, no, that's
right.
Like, no, that's something. That's fucking regiment around here.
Yes.
Jesus,
exactly that kind of thing.
I've really pendulumed to full on Thompson's team then.
But
for sure.
But what the funny is, I thought you meant like, you know how like sometimes when you come into someone's house, they're like, hey, around here, we take our shoes off. So you got to take your shoes. Yeah. I thought like Thompson had been like, hey, where's your toilet? And they were like, okay, it's right over there. And before you go, there's something you need to know.
Yeah, right.
Before you come out, you got to turn that back into a swan. Yeah. Otherwise, you got to stay in there. So
like he took a shit and came out and they went and checked it. And they're like, hey, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Where's the poop swan?
Yeah, where's the poop swan? We're going to need you to make a poop swan real quick.
Yeah, so I mean, it is different that it's just like the thing they do, you know.
Just imagining Thompson becoming more and more radical as he's folding the poop swan. God damn, I do hate these rich motherfuckers.
Oh god,
yeah, he do.
Because I do like it when hotels and like my cleaning lady, she makes the point. I like that because I know where that, you know, I know they've been in there.
Yeah,
again, talk about hotels and then say my cleaning lady.
He did.
Hotels and my cleaning lady do that. It's a thing.
Okay.
It's a thing. It's one specific thing they have in common is that they both make a point.
I thought my cleaning lady was like just what you call all cleaning ladies at hotels.
No.
Oh, hello, there's my cleaning lady.
That sounds like a British sitcom I'd be into. My cleaning lady. But no, it does hit for me when they make the point. But yeah, I've never made it a point to make the point afterwards.
Again, this is not just the point.
I know it's a swan.
The point.
Are you trying to get a picture?
Reasonable. Yeah, I am. The point is completely. He already sent a picture. It's just I'm going to have to do it this way,
which is what they wanted.
The point is completely reasonable to me because I agree with you. It's like an indication that they have been, that they did stuff in there.
Yeah,
like an hotel room or something. You're like, oh, this is a clean shithole because they played the point. But again, and also it's very simple or whatever. This is like elaborate. It's not a poop swan. It's more like a poop rose, I guess. But if y'all like that, you see that?
Jeez.
You can't really see the definition.
Let me pin your video for the people on YouTube. Yeah. Okay.
All right. That. That's
we've got
Thompson's
a
hand. He sent me
flower.
that picture with just profane captions. What the fuck is this shit? But anyway, you could see what we're dealing with there.
Is it a cleaning lady that did it?
He might have got there on the day. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Because
Because rich people don't be doing that shit themselves.
No, there's a little
can't do
thing
nothing.
on there. There's a little sticker on there, and I freaked out again because I was like, God damn it! I think that might have. I thought they'd made like monogrammed poop road stickers or something with their, just rich people shit.
Yeah.
I started freaking out because I was like, God, I might have identified them after all that shit. I don't want to get Thompson in trouble. And then I looked
Hilarious.
and they probably won't mind because what it says is Made Pro. So it is a cleaning service.
Yeah.
And the cleaning lady, they do that. That's one of their little hallmarks, I guess.
Yeah. So this is all very normal.
It is. Yeah. It's all fine if you have cleaning ladies or whatever.
Yeah. I love this.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not sure it's normal to have a cleaning lady. It is.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Did you guys know it is in like a lot of fucking countries? Like it's not like an upper class thing in a lot of places.
Really? So it's a lot.
I mean, I've only been to like 3 countries, but in all of them it was a thing and not just for super rich people.
Oh, well, first off, I'd like to clarify one thing just for people who are listening. I am blessed enough to have a cleaning lady every now and then. This is not like she ain't here all the goddamn time. You know what I mean? This is like a once or twice a month thing. Not that
you don't have a maid.
No. I'm sure there's some people out there who that's enough. They're like, oh, Corey's still doing good enough to have her come twice a month. I am. That's great. But like, yeah, twice a month, not like, where's fucking, what was her name in 2.5 Men? Berta. That's the level I want to get at. I can't wait till she's here every goddamn day.
So the reason I said that nothing hits, in addition to it being Thompson's birthday,
Nearly forgot.
It's the first day back to school, and like, my boys were totally fine with the virtual school thing at first, but they got to a point where they weren't any longer. And it's just like the rest of the world. During the first half of this school year, they were still acting like by the second half, things would be normal again. You know what I mean? Like we keep telling ourselves that collectively. It's like, oh, by then it'll be fine.
Yeah, because that's a thing for future us to worry about.
Then then arrives and then also don't hit. Now don't hit, then don't hit either. No. You can bet money.
Now don't hit.
No, now don't hit. Then also ain't gonna hit, just so y'all know. No. Then ain't hit in like 18 months. But anyway, well, then is now today because they decided a few weeks ago officially that they were going to stay in virtual school, and as opposed to my point, they were saying in the spring semester they would be back in regular hybrid school, which the boys were excited about, but that got kiboshed a while ago, and they're very, very fucking over it. And even after 2 weeks of Christmas break, first day back, you thought, well, maybe they recharge their batteries a little bit and it won't get shitty again for a little while. But no, it's been Ravens, nothing but Ravens all goddamn day today. It has not hit, and it's the very first day. They're already talking about summer break and shit and all this.
Well, everything will be fine by then, so it's okay.
Yeah, then will hit, surely.
Yeah, then.
For then. Go to Disney.
Yeah, then won't hit. So, yeah, it's just been just a bunch of goddamn bullshit all day, and it's just the first day. But so, anyway, did y'all make New Year's resolutions?
Well, real quick, this highlights how different our lives are. My day has not hit because I accidentally regular dose trying to low dose mushrooms. I did my podcast with DJ, and like halfway through, I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. I can't be on mushrooms and with DJ and it make any linear sense.
He's human mushrooms.
For sure.
Yeah, he's the equivalent. He's the hanging out equivalent of being on mushrooms.
Yes, for sure.
So I was like, I gotta quit. I went and walked Mick. I thought everybody was staring at me at the park. There's like a haze because it's LA, and I was convinced it was the apocalypse. Anyway, I ain't had a good day either, but it was all my fault. I mean, I guess you having kids is your fault. But
how often is your mushroom trip good?
I would say most of the time.
Okay, I'm not being a dick.
No. I like most of the time. The other thing I guess I should say, my mushroom trip wasn't bad. Yeah. It was that I was like in it without planning to be.
Right, yeah. That's the worst.
On a podcast, trying to control DJ, and then that kind of got me in a bad mood. I went for a walk, and I thought the world was ending for a minute. And then The sunshine was nice and the rest of the trip was good. It's just that there's no hidden story to that part. Honestly, my day's been pretty good. I'm trying to commiserate with Trey.
Almost any type of fucked up that you didn't plan for just can't hit. Like for instance, like the other day, I ate half of what I thought was one of my CBD gummies, but it was actually a weed gummy, and it wasn't like an amount of weed that would murder me, but I did not at all want to get high, and then I was just fucking in it, and like it's miserable.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first 30 minutes. It only lasted like an hour. The last 30 minutes was actually really lovely. I guess I was just trying to commiserate with Trey. But you're right. If you don't expect it, although I guess it's different if like you weren't planning on getting high and then you find a bag of Coke.
That's different because then you choose to snort the Coke.
Right.
Yeah, because like you make the active decision. Like obviously being fucked up hits. But if you weren't planning on it, that's really just not something that you want to be thrown at you. That's why, like, if somebody was to dose me with something, I would beat the shit out of them when I came to.
Well, that's what, obviously, dosing somebody is super not cool. And I was about to say, like, it seems like that's what you're talking about. You just mean, like, accidentally taking, because you say, like, if you don't mean to, but, like, if you also chose to eat the weed, but you're saying...
Well, Corey chose.
I chose to eat CBD, and it was weed.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I chose to take what I do about every 4 days. And here's what happened. I'll just explain myself. It was like the bottom of the bag, and it was crumbs. And so I just was like, well, this is a volume. I don't know how to measure this. So I took the amount of crumbs that I usually take in stalks and caps to low dose. But look, I ain't a math guy. All right, I don't know how it works. I got too much drugs.
Yeah,
it was my fault.
I've actually never had a bad mushroom trip, and don't
me
want
either.
To. I didn't fuck with mushrooms very much for a long time because I was afraid of having a bad mushroom trip. Then I eased into it, and because of easing into it, I did it like, and y'all know this story, but I did it like 3 or 4 times legitimately without getting any effect whatsoever, to the point that I was starting to think that I was immune to them. And so then took quite a large amount at a hippie party, the summer solstice once, with Charles and Thompson and
Charles
Key Daddy and everybody else. Y'all know Charles. And, but he went to the moon, but had a really, really, really good time doing it. Knew I wasn't immune to them. And then ever since then, that time in San Francisco with you, I mean, you could count on half a hand the times I've ever taken mushrooms since then, but they've all been, I've never had a bad experience, but with weed, I could take 2.5 milligrams of weed and end up freaking out. And you were asking earlier, asked Drew, how often does it actually hit? It reminded me of one time I was when I did Todd Glass's podcast. One of the times I did it, he had all
we were there with you, weren't we?
Yeah. I think this was another time, because I feel like y'all weren't there for this, but maybe you were.
All I know is one time I was at his house and I was way too high, and he pulled out the smoke machine, and I about fucking lost my shit.
So he's got a bunch of comics hanging out over there and stuff. There's a lot of weed going on, but we were about to record again. We were taking like a break, and they asked me if I wanted some, and I was like, no, man. I was like, I got no problem with it. I was like, I just, I still got to talk. And I'm worried that I'll freak out. I was like, see, because I'm the type to freak out, y'all probably don't freak out on weed. And this other comic, that's just like 25-year-old comic that I was talking to, he goes, he's holding the pipe, and he goes, oh dude, I freak out probably 75-80% of the time. He just like hits it again. And I remember it was like right after that time, I was like, all right, we're coming back in 3, 2, because I'm just looking at him. I wanted to be like, then why
that's why I quit, pretty much.
Why do you keep, because that's why I quit smoking too. When I was younger, I didn't have the freakouts. Once I started having the freakouts, that's why I backed off the shit.
It's gotten a lot better for me. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to be clear, I guess, then about mushrooms. I don't think I've ever had a bad trip. When I've done a lot before, I've had to deal with painful things. But what happened today was
emotionally.
But what happened today was simply I was trying to like do a thing, and was a little too fucked up to just realize immediately I don't have to do a thing. It took me like 20 minutes to get to the point where I was like, oh, there's no there's no boss. DJ, I don't want to do this anymore. Let me go outside. And then it was fine.
You on mushrooms, just that's how my anxiety is every day without drugs. Like what you just described was like exactly what I have to tell myself about. Yeah, for like something very, very simple. Like I'll be freaking out and then I'll be like, hey, no one's making you do this thing. It's okay, just chill the fuck out. So
I'm like that
because you're not
too.
an anxious person, right? Actually, yeah, you're a very anxious person.
You're just the mushrooms ain't what made me take 20 minutes, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it. You're right. It's just the mushrooms were just why I didn't want to do the podcast at that moment.
I guess what I'm going to say is like you are an anxious person. It's just I feel like maybe everybody feels this way about their own anxiety. I feel like I'm more anxious about way dumber shit than you. Like I feel like every time I've seen you anxious, at least it kind of mattered. You know what I mean? I was like, I could see why he's upset about that. Sometimes.
I can't tell if it's healthy that my good friends validate all of my fears or not. It's like on the one hand, I like being right. And on the other hand, I'm like, God damn, I can't tell myself that it ain't real. Corey said it was real.
Everybody's just like, no, you should be worried. You should be real worried. I'm fine. I don't need to be worried. I'm like, why am I worrying all the time? But like, if I was you, I'd really be worried. Like,
I just meant like in terms of the shit, like when we're all riding the car together and we're touring and shit, like the shit that I get worked up over.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, when I get done being worked up, I'm like, that was fine. That would have been okay. But like most of that shit, I feel like don't bother Drew. Like I'm saying, I'm trying to give Drew a low key kind of compliment and be like, look, most of the time you scream, I get it.
Yeah. I guess the thing about that is and this started out as ego and now I just feel like I've been stuck in a bit for 10 years. I can't change any of it. So there's still no, like, I might be right, but like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I should also just stop worrying about it.
Well,
just like you should stop worrying about, how that guy was looking at you when we was on the morning radio.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But I've gotten better. I have gotten better.
Like morning radio guy don't matter, and I don't know Mitch McConnell. I'll never meet him in my life.
Right, but that has real world implications and shit, I guess. Like
not for me. Like what?
What am I gonna do? Yeah, mine's gotten better. I mean, it literally has to be like the only constant that was removed is like so much booze. Like my anxiety is not near as fucking bad, and therefore I haven't had as bad of experiences on weed in the past like 4 months. And I think that's because when I take an amount of weed normally that I would freak out on, like I was freaking out because I was already about to have a panic attack because of the fucking booze anyways. And so like I've taken like booze away from myself, and I'm having to train myself in how to get high sober, because y'all know I've always had a problem with that. But now it's 2.5 milligrams though. Still, like one day I'll take that and it'll be like, this is great. I'm going to chill out and watch a movie. This blanket feels awesome. Next day, tolerance be damned. Yeah. I'm on the fucking moon and I hate everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes I really wish.
I'm exactly the same way when it comes to weed, and I don't understand it either.
It don't hit.
When I first moved to California, I thought I was really looking forward to that aspect of it, because it's like, oh, it's all regulated out here. Everything is like, you know exactly how much of exactly what type of weed you are consuming, and so that means, ergo, I won't freak out anymore, because I will just not take enough to allow that to accidentally happen. Because that's what used to happen. Because weed was the easiest thing to accidentally take too much of.
Of course,
like smoking a joint with your buddies, whatever. You don't know how concentrated.
Or they give you half a brownie that they measured.
Right? Yeah, and you don't know how much that is, so you accidentally take too much, and then that don't hit.
Ball game.
Like you said, it don't matter.
Now
I always take the
exact
same amount. No. Of course, it makes a huge
difference. It inarguably makes it better, but it still can happen. Yeah.
And it's so many different variables that go into how high you get, I guess. It's
like,
when was the last time you ate? What did you eat? How long have you been awake today? Like, you know what I'm saying?
No wonder you're fucked up all the time.
All that shit makes a difference.
Just woke up, ate a burrito, ate some weed. That's you.
I sometimes wish we had like a person who was an amalgamation of all of our motherly fans, just like at the middle of all these conversations, just go, so why don't y'all just not do the
Dude,
drugs?
yeah,
And
I
then we
know.
just go,
Because that don't hit.
No, that don't hit.
What?
No, that don't hit. And like okay, there's a difference. Yes, when it started, when I was like the dude with the pipe and it was like 70-80% of the time I was freaking out, I did stop genuinely.
Right.
And I lowered the dose, and now I can say that it's 70 or 80% of the time it's good. My numbers have gotten better that way.
Right.
Now, every now and then, this is, I'm fucking stupid. Every now and then, which I don't know why, because every day is a testament to how my tolerance for marijuana doesn't matter like my tolerance for everything. I can drink, dude, on a good day, I can drink 35 beers, be fucking fine. Any other drug in the world, fucking give me all of it. I'll be okay. Marijuana, I can't look at it without getting stoned.
I know.
But then every now and then, like I'll have like 4 good days in a row, you know, taking my 2.5 milligram, and then I'll think to myself, all right, 4 good days in a row. You know what though? Today, let's really get blazed. You can handle it. And then
what are you after on that day? What is it that you hope will happen?
I don't ever try to really.
I think to myself, I'm like, the 2.5 for 4 days in a row has just kind of mellowed me out. I want to get like same vein, but just more mellow.
Like Pink Floyd. You're trying to get like Pink
Yes.
Floyd blaze.
Yes.
I'm like that college days.
Is that something you've
blaze,
experienced?
I used to.
In the past,
that used to be what getting high was for me. That's how I started liking it in the first place.
Me too. Like you get absolutely stony baloney and it's fine. But what happened was like I was younger, and it's like you can't have a panic attack when you're younger because you don't know what the world is. And then I did the worst thing you could do as someone who likes weed is I found out about the world. And so, but sometimes I guess like I'll just be in like such a great manic mood that I can take all the weed in the world and I just get really high and it's okay. And I'll think that I'm in that mood, and then I'll take a full 10 milligram, you know, which I know there's so many people listening to this podcast that are like, you are the biggest pussy.
Yeah.
My mother is one of them.
That's one dose. Yeah. Katie could take 10 milligrams like it ain't
nothing. No problem. I've got a buddy who literally, I watched him take 60 milligrams just right in front of me. No, and dude, no problem. And I'd taken 2.5 and I was fucking blazed.
Yeah, right. I know it's insane. I don't get it either.
I think Brian could eat 1,000.
Mm-hmm. I know he could. He's one of them.
Trey, do you remember, Corey? I don't know if I, was around you a lot, but do you remember I had that bit about becoming a pothead late in life back when we was in Knoxville? You probably don't. You was probably outside smoking. But the whole bit was what you said, Corey. It was like, I didn't start smoking weed till I was like 28 or 29.
Yeah, bad call.
I skipped all the fun part. Like I went straight to my wife hates me. Why did I choose this job?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. No, it's so weird. Yeah. When you're younger, you're like a late teenager in your early 20s or something. Weed is awesome for all those reasons. Cause you literally can't
freak out
because you can't wrap your mind around how many things don't hit about the universe and the world and life and stuff. But then when you get older, and you have a concept of all that, you can't not freak out about how many things don't hit about.
No,
but like
except if you are real dumb.
Okay, there you go. Because I was about to say, I was about to say but some people though.
Brian, you're not dumb. That ain't what we're trying to say.
I was about to say I don't think Brian's dumb, and he's just one of those people. Well, some people. Physiologically or something, weed just affects them differently than it affects me.
Brian,
because like you said, some people like Brian can take 80 milligrams and be fine. Like how the fuck?
Brian's the opposite though. Think about what Brian did. Brian's seen the worst of the world. Right. You know what I mean? So when you've seen the worst, then it's like, there ain't nothing can fuck me up worse than the world's already fucked me up, I guess. I guess Brian, that could apply to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, but
me?
That's what I'm saying. I think
I was making a joke about Trey's childhood being terrible.
Right. Well, I don't know.
Well, that's what I was wondering about. Like, what about teenagers who have a shitty situation and they
which I did. I had a very shitty situation, and it didn't. I don't know. So it just didn't. When I used to get high back then, I didn't start spiraling into only thinking about my fucking pillbilly mama and my sick dad and all this shit. Like I didn't used to do that, but now my brain. So yeah. I don't know. It's just some difference between. It does turn on. That's how Thompson always used to put it, and still does. That your favorite drugs would turn on you as you got older, and
they will.
Yeah, and he's right.
Well, and going back to Brian, weed might be his favorite drug, but he used to love to drink, and it turned on him.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
He's
quick.
Not immune. He's just immune to the weed turn.
It's one of the things that hits the least about getting older for sure. They do turn on because booze is. I can handle like, I just don't drink very much anymore, which is fine. I don't regret it or I don't miss it at all. But like, it's because it turned on me.
Yeah, for
Man,
sure.
Like, I used to love getting drunk. I don't really, it
No.
don't really even hit
No,
for
I hear
me
ya.
anymore because it kind of turned
That's-
on me. Weed was the first to turn on me. That was years ago. But like, yeah, drugs
No,
just
that's
turn on you.
That's the unfortunate thing. Like, I've been living kind of a cleaner lifestyle, but like only maybe 10% of it is like, you know, yay, hooray for Corey. It's really just that like I can't I can't drink as much as I used to, and
Right.
like I don't like some people, their hangover just don't last 2 days. That's great, good for you. I wish I could be that way, but mine does. And we've had a lot of shit going on. I don't ever have like 2 days to give away, so I just don't get drunk anymore because I know I can't. And then it just turned into a habit, and I'm very fucking happy it turned into a habit. But like, dude, if I could function at a high level drunk, I'd be drunk right now.
Yeah. Well, listen, we've got two very relevant
Yes, we
promotional
do.
segments here for y'all tonight.
Yes,
First of
we
all,
do.
first up, you know what drug don't turn on you? Nicotine.
No, it don't.
Lucy nicotine.
Always there for you.
Always there for you when you need it. Chew Lucy. Lucy's got a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate. If you don't like any of those, you could try the 4 milligram lozenges that are in the cherry ice flavor. They're discreet. You can do it anywhere. You won't have anybody up your ass and get your nicotine from Lucy because it hits, Cho.
That's it.
Or conversely, is what hits about it. You can use them
Anywhere.
another regard too, like the way Corey used it.
Absolutely. I used it to inadvertently to get off of nicotine. I had not had a real cigarette in about 2 years, but I was vaping, and I didn't really have any plans to give up the vape, honestly. But then our friends over at Lucy sent us all the gums, of which, as I said, pomegranate was my favorite because at the time I was still boozing. So if you're still boozing, I say go with the pomegranate because it don't screw up the taste of your liquor drink or your beer or whatever. But I started chewing it, and the next thing I know, I wasn't vaping no more. It wasn't a conscious decision. I just wasn't. And then all of a sudden I wasn't using the gum. So Lucy not only helped me get off of nicotine, but it helped me get off of itself. I don't even chew Lucy anymore. So, yeah.
So, WellRED
stuff.
listeners, you go to lucy.co. That's lucy.co and use the promo code RED, R-E-D, and you get 20% off all products, gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co. Use the promo code RED at checkout. We are legally required to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. This next part is for trade.
and it
which
hits.
It does hit, yeah. Lucy.co, and be sure to use the promo code RED. We thank them for sponsoring the podcast. Now, Drew, talk about brains.
Talk about brains.
Talk space. You know, whenever I talk to people why they don't go to therapy, I always say it's because it's too expensive. But let's have some real talk. How much do you spend on coffee every day, or nicotine, or sweatsuits, or whatever the hell?
That was specifically for me. Oh, Corey's out there drinking coffee, chewing cigarettes, and buying another sweatsuit. God damn it, that boy needs to talk to somebody.
And is that stuff really more important than your mental health, Cho? With Talkspace, you can take care of your mental health without dipping into your savings account. Right now, with Talkspace, you can sign up online or download the app and start therapy the same day with a licensed therapist for a fraction of the price of traditional therapy. Depending on the plan you choose, you can message and schedule live video sessions with your therapist. You'll pay the same amount every month. So it's easy to budget.
Sure is. Yeah, Talkspace also has thousands of licensed therapists with years of experience in over 40 specialties, including depression, anxiety, substance abuse, trauma, anger management, relationship issues, food, and eating. Boy, that's just mine. So much
All
more.
the classics, buddy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you may be listening thinking, well, that's just this podcast. So why would I need to do this?
Right,
But guys, talking to your friends is so different from talking to a licensed therapist who has the expertise and knowledge to give a person practical guidance. Talkspace will give you the support that you need at an affordable price. As a listener of this podcast, you get $100 off your first month with Talkspace. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com or download the app and make sure you use the code WellRED to get $100 off your first month and show your support for the show. So that's WellRED at Talkspace.com.
$100 off. Your brain can't afford not to do it.
That's right. We thank them both for sponsoring the podcast. Listen, all this talk about weed and all that is related to something I wanted to bring up, actually. And it's about how, like we were saying, as you get older and your drugs turn on you and your brain turns on you and all this stuff. But it's just another thing that occurred to me recently. This isn't some novel thing. Plenty of people have talked about and had this experience, but I tweeted a thing about it at the time. I was, y'all ever listen to like an old, like you listen to like old music that like you grew up with, like 90s music or whatever, you know what I mean? Because like it hits, like, and you have nostalgia, right? And it's like it puts you in a good mood.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
of
yeah. All the
nostalgia.
time.
Right.
That's
Well, so
mainly when I'm about to get fucked up. I make sure to have something close by that's that. You
yeah,
know what I
right.
mean?
So the other day, like a few days ago now, it was like sometime around the holidays. I was just feeling some nostalgia stuff, so I put on a random. I didn't check it. I just went
Oh,
to
I know where this
a
is going.
'90s playlist on Spotify and just put it on random. And at first, I mean, it was slapping. It was fucking No Diggity and Mariah Carey and
Then
all
it was
kinds of
tears.
other shit. And then 15 minutes later, I'm standing in the kitchen, just staring out the window, shaking my head like, God damn, man, what the fuck?
These hands are small, I know.
Because Jewel came on. You Were Meant for Me,
Yeah.
right? That's which, like, I of course remember as a kid, and
Woo!
like, not only do I remember it, I like remembered every word of it, but I
Yeah.
never used to, like, when you're a kid, you don't think about what the
No.
words are. Do you
They're
know what I'm
just
saying?
sequential to, yeah.
And I hadn't heard that song in years, but I still remembered the words. But I thought about it for the first time in my life as like a 35-year-old man. And I'm in a happy marriage, and it's a
Yeah.
breakup song, but still, dude, that song
Yeah.
is fucking brutal. It
Yeah.
is absolutely fucking brutal, man.
Dude, this is an example of when you're young, the not hits can't seep in.
That's
Exactly.
right. That's what I'm saying. I know. And I know I brought this up, but y'all talk amongst yourselves for like 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Y'all keep going.
Okay.
Man.
I don't
Gotta
know.
take this phone call. I've been waiting on all goddamn day.
Yeah, when you are younger, none of that matters because I do the same thing with there's a Cranberry song, Linger. Dude, when I was a kid, I just, do you have to let it linger? And then like as an adult, I listen to it, and especially now that she's passed away, like just absolutely freak smooth the fuck out.
Well, dude, rap. Rap was always about hitting, or it was about gangster stuff.
Yes.
Or it was about the brutal reality of growing up in the ghetto.
Yes.
And we'd
yes.
just be out there like, you know what I mean? My homie died at 13. And we would just be
That's
like,
the
"Hell
same
yeah,
album.
yeah."
That's on the same motherfucking album too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like
the same song sometimes.
like every now and then, like I would
Sometimes
get
it's the same song, Joe.
Yeah.
We fucking these hoes, but pour one out for the ones who died.
Yeah, like they'd get me with the titties in the cars, and then I would leave knowing way more about the struggle than I had intended on knowing, like before I got there. But yeah, man, like it's super intense music and whatnot. And
Well, I had so here's a nostalgia question for you, and I want Trey to answer this too. But it's funny he brought up the nostalgia because I was thinking about, so there's music where you're like, we've talked about it with country music, where you're like, is 90s country good, or was I just eight and now I remember feeling that way?
yeah, right. And you can't ever know otherwise. There's no way to put that genie back in the bottle.
So please pardon me the sacrilege of this question.
Okay.
Could our mammals cook?
I have actually thought about that.
Cause
No, I've thought about that.
Paula Dean got made fun of by the
Now
world.
she hits.
She does hit, but all I'm saying is there's a reason French and Italian food is considered world class and ours is very niche.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Okay. You mean our type of food. You don't mean specifically our mammals.
No, it's both.
Yeah, I was about to say, because no, when it comes to like our food, I believe like, because dude, there's places like fried chicken places come up all over the place. And I think that Southern food is, well, it's not like French, Italian, Mexican, the South. Like it don't get that type of reckoning. But I don't know, soul food, dude, like it comes up in more play. I think it's just,
Okay,
if I think about
you're
it,
probably right. Yeah, you're right. So then let's make it personal. Could your mama cook?
I'd like to think so, but at the same time, I can't. Like everything I'm remembering that my granny Bang cooked was good, but like I'm like, yeah, but my mom's is better because my mom's a great cook. Like I really think there's a lot of it that like when I remember my granny's mashed potatoes, I'm like, I made better ones. I would love to have hers right now because that meant she made them. And my mom's cornbread's better than my granny's. My granny's beans was the shit, but that was mainly she used fatback, where like a lot of restaurants didn't use fatback. So like,
Sure, but that's like saying, well, the only reason it was good is because she made it good. You know what I mean?
Right, right. No,
she gets credit.
No, I understand, but like, my granny only did like 6 or 7 things, and they were all very much comfort food, and it's possible my granny wasn't the best cook in the world. Maybe it's possible.
Right. So Memoff Ding Ding was a great cook, but she only did cook like 8 things.
Yeah, that's Granny Bane too.
Memoff Flo, like I loved her pancakes, but like the more I think about it, she just made pancakes out of the box.
Yeah,
and
Bisquick.
she put sugar in them.
Yeah.
And then she let me have all the syrup I wanted. Like, mom or dad would pour the syrup for me. She just handed me the syrup.
Yeah, that does hit harder.
What got me thinking about this is I was looking in the freezer and I thought we had pizza rolls. I saw a bag and I was like, oh shit.
You saw the yellow and you were like, yeah.
And it was some bullshit fruit Andy bought to put in the damn freezer.
Oh, that's stupid.
And I was like, well, that's on me though, because there's no way I would have left pizza rolls in the freezer. It's never made it past 2 days.
Yeah, right. That's why, like, I've never once looked at an expiration date on a jar of peanut butter. It's good. Right. It's good. So if it's at my house, that motherfucker's only been here for about 3 days.
So then I thought, do I like pizza? Are pizza rolls good? Or is it just like, this was me when I was 12? And then it was like, wait a minute, is anything I ate when I was 12 good? Or do I just wish that I had no responsibilities and was watching Batman, the animated series, while somebody made me food?
I thought about this yesterday because I follow on Instagram quite a bit of like food, whether it be profiles or like just hashtags. Like I just follow the hashtag ramen. So anytime anyone hashtags ramen, that shit comes up on my thing. Also hashtag snacks, hashtag 90s snacks. So it was brought to my attention yesterday that Pillsbury, in my opinion, the hottest collaboration of the year, is collabing with Dunkaroos to make a
collab.
Yeah. So did Dunkaroos hit for you?
Did I fuck with Dunkaroos?
Yeah.
Man, I did a little, but goddamn, this is so funny. Mom was like, I ain't buying you that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of our babysitters or somebody, like one of my aunts who, like, you rotate which aunt you stay with after school with your cousins. At some point,
we had money, so I don't know what you're talking about, but
right. So at some point, Dunkaroos came into my life, and when it did, it was like it had to have been an aunt, because it was very much like, oh, did my sister buy you Dunkaroos? Well, then I'm gonna buy you every kind of Dunkaroo, young man.
Hell yeah! But I was wondering yesterday when I saw that, like, I haven't had a Dunkaroo in a very long time. And in my mind, as soon as I saw the Dunkaroo, I just welled up with emotion. I could almost taste it. And I was thinking to myself, because I don't think they make them no more, right?
I have no idea.
You'd just think that I would have had a Dunkaroo in the past 5 years. It's safe to say.
If you made me bet every dime I had right now,
that's what I'm.
The country, the Georgia election.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, I'm like, well, if Dunkaroos is just coming back for a McRib one-off, like, did they ever hit? Because like, how
does the McRib hit?
Fuck no, the McRib don't hit. Maybe I'm alone in fat dumb idiots, but like, because I think that like I'm the type of person that people would be like, I feel like people look at me and go, that boy counts the days until the McRib is back. You know what I mean? And I've got a couple friends like, don't I look like that? I've got a couple friends who like the McRib comes back and they're like, dude, it's the fucking best. And I'm like, first off, you're trash. It's trash. And
are they comedians?
Do what?
Are they comedians?
No. But I'm certain that Dave Waite and Joe Pettis both like the goddamn McRib too. If that's what you're getting at.
I mean, if they can afford one. But
sorry guys, I'm not editing that out. Only one of them
deserve that. You guys can
decide which one. Fight to the death. We'll give you $5.
Jesus.
Okay, you did it.
No, I know. I was Jesusing me. He always is. Hey. The McRib thing is people being like, "Oh my God, I can't wait." That's just marketing. That's work.
Of course, yeah, it does.
And by that, I don't even mean those people don't like it.
Yeah,
they may like it, but the whole like I count the days. People without a personality, but who like very much want to be online, have to substitute something for that personality.
For sure. Oh, dude, nothing makes me madder when someone's like entire. Like there's right now is a good example. There's so many people whose entire personality is that they like lattes. Like literally that's their whole being. Like their
Is that, you mean in your hometown or on the internet?
internet, both. And
Really?
both. Yeah, I think it's like that old thing of like, like don't talk to me unless I've had my coffee. Like there's people that's their whole personality. Like they've got a shirt that says not until I've had my coffee. They've got
Or
a
like
coffee
wine.
mug that's and I think it's just like or wine. It's just evolved to now it's lattes and pumpkin spice and shit like that. But the McRib is like, dude, here's the deal. If you know anything, I'm not. Of course, there's some people that like the McRib, a lid for every pot, as it says. But like, if the McRib hit for most people, McDonald's would sell it all the time, every day.
They clearly make more money off of doing it this way.
It's the only way they would ever sell a lot of them. Because if they just had them out for all the time, people would go, "Oh yeah, these don't hit."
Yeah, or like too many people would get sick and die of whatever the fuck is in it, so they have to deal with that.
Because there's some dude who 4 McRib launches in a row has took a bite and went, "Oh yeah, don't hit." But 4 in a row, he's gone and forgot. Like that, fat people have like that hormone that pregnant ladies, the hormone that pregnant ladies have, that when they have the baby, it makes them forget how painful the baby process was.
I think it's literally oxytocin.
Okay, well, pregnant ladies got a shit ton of that.
They do. No, I think it's the same. They call it the love chemical, and it's what's in the best pain pills.
Yeah. So fat people got that, but for the McRib, as soon as they eat the McRib, and it don't hit for them, they forget how much it don't hit for them, and then the McRib commercial comes back on, it triggers them, and they go get it, and then they're disappointed again. I mean, dude, I wouldn't put it past McDonald's. Don't get me on some Alex Jones shit with whatever they got going on and their chemicals and their fucking.
Dude, some of that shit's like right up front. How much sodium is in it, and then the studies. It's like studies came out about how addictive sodium was, and then the next month, McDonald's sodium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Starbucks is pretty open that their coffee just has way more caffeine. That's the secret. How's this coffee so good? It's just got more of the drug in it.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to be like a cool hipster type dude here, but Starbucks really don't hit taste wise, dude. It's whatever. I'm not saying it's bad either, and I'm not saying you're an idiot for your local Starbucks is right around the corner from your apartment. Go there, whatever. But like, it's not like, oh my God, just light years above taste wise. Like, no, it's convenient, and they jack that shit full of caffeine, which makes you think it's good.
The culture surrounding coffee, I like, but also I do have that cynical thing. So it's really wild that human beings figured out how to roast these beans and pour hot water over it. And
amazing
thing, and steam the milk. And this guy likes it that way, but this guy wants hers cold. But at the same time, it's like, that's an awful lot. Just do the drug. You just that's what this is about.
Yeah. I feel that way.
Oh, I like milk in mine. Yeah, dairy's also a type of drug. Like,
yeah, it's all there. But like, I feel the same way too. But basically, like, of course, I've got my complicated drink that I like. But then if it gets any more complicated than the complication I have, I'm like, okay, now you've gone too far. But like, I agree. Like, we just fucking go get a no dose from the goddamn gas station. They're way cheap, and have a Diet Dr. Pepper. You want that more? Like that's what you want.
Right, but at the same time, it does hit for me. Like, the fucking French. I like French. Something I don't understand always hits for me.
Me too. And I do love going to get a coffee. Like when me and you are on the road, we can be like, "Hey, you want to go get a coffee?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that sounds nice." If you were just like, "Hey, do you want to go get a Dr. Pepper?" I'd be like, "The fuck out of here!" No, I don't want to go get a Dr. Pepper with you.
I read one time that it was like an article, and it was like a big deal that Coca-Cola surpassed tea sales in India. That the afternoon tea was becoming the afternoon.
Oh, I thought you meant like the shit, like tea sales, like ain't that like some age shit? Like I was like, goddamn, how bad does India got it? I thought I was like, motherfucker. There's more Coke than there are tea sales in India. Lord. Like, I know McDonald's got 1 billion served, but, like, that's some shit, dude. Dude, you just freaked me.
God dang, no wonder they're struggling over there. Fuck.
Dude, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm a little high, but, like, when you said, what did you say?
that Coca-Cola had passed tea sales.
That freaked me out. That freaked me out.
Dude, yeah, but fuck. I don't know where to go with that. So going back to what we were talking about, you're right about on the road, like going to have a coffee it's nice. It smells good. I came very close. I was searching for an affordable espresso machine for Andy as a gift because I don't even drink espresso. It makes me feel terrible. But then I realized it doesn't bother me that she goes and buys it or anything like that. I was like, oh, I just want to smell it. I wish my kitchen smelled like a coffee shop every morning. That would rule.
No, I understand that. Like, yeah, like a coffee candle, that would be sweet. I'm the same way with like smelling someone's clothes that have like just went out. That no, well, yes, technically, when they smell like cigarettes, don't hit for me. But like the faint smell of a cigarette just being puffed still kind of hits for me. It kind of reminds me of a bar or something like that.
Tobacco is one of the like top 3 or 4 essential oils that they put in cologne.
Oh, word.
Perfumes, yeah,
that checks out. Trey, we're talking
like a real sweet, earthy smell.
Trey, to bring this back around, when you left,
y'all ain't talking about Jewel no more? Y'all didn't talk about Jewel for 12 straight minutes?
No, not at all.
We did talk about nostalgia.
We talked about nostalgia, and Drew, talking about nostalgia, Drew posited the question of, since we're all very nostalgic people, and like we used the McRib, I believe, as the catalyst to jump into this. But like
it was the other way around, but it don't matter.
Oh yeah, you're right. Do you think, looking back, your grandma was actually a really good cook, or is it just a lot of nostalgia?
Oh man. Well, one of my
he's done this.
Mama's. Oh God.
He made me learn too.
Mama's still alive, and Mama Cat is not. She's been dead and gone for a long time now. And one of them,
I bet the one that's dead.
I feel like such a turncoat piece of shit right now.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be diplomatic about it. Yeah. Mama, now that I know about cooking and stuff,
yeah,
the things that Mama be doing,
yeah,
I'm not overly impressed by. However, they like somehow, and I don't know if it's just all that love she pours into it or what, but somehow it still very much hits for me. And it's like, is it nostalgia? Is it because I was a fat ass kid and it hit for me real hard back then? Is that it's still because her chicken and dumplings, her macaroni and cheese, her meat, her
all that mush.
It sounds or it tastes exactly the same today as it did when my fat fuck ass was 9 years old. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And so it still hits for me. But now I know about cooking, and so I know that it's like, oh, that's what you've been doing this whole time.
No.
That's what that was this whole time. But
does it taste good to you though?
Mama Cat though,
yeah,
wee boy,
yeah,
flames. What? She's how I got so goddamn fat. But like why she been dead for 10 years. Also why that is. she hit too hard,
right?
Like too much lard, too much salt. Just
hit though.
It was grease. Lord, it was grease.
Yeah. I just imagine
good.
I just imagine some sassy old Southern woman being like, and that's why her husband's still alive. That bitch can't cook.
Yeah, for sure. That's what in my mind I was like, yeah, if you're like if you're a woman in the South up to a certain age and you've made it, I'm like, you must have turned your jersey in like a while back. Like you couldn't still be doing that. Like my heroes don't wear capes, but they only got 1 foot. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, like I had a great grandma that lived to be almost 100.
If your papa's alive, your mama couldn't cook.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I had a great grandma that lived to be almost 100, and by the time I can remember going to her house and stuff, I mean, shit, she was 90 already. You know what I mean? And like, unsurprisingly, because of exactly what we're talking about, somewhere along the line or whatever, she had, she cooked very healthily she still made beans and stuff like that, but it just weren't as much lard and salt, all the things that make a hit.
Right.
She had like cut out because that was bad for you. And it was bad for you. It's like, it's not a coincidence that she lived to be 100, but also like that stuff was garbage. Dog.
Yeah. She lived a long time
over there. I'll be like, what is this shit?
Yeah.
Trey with
Ruby?
a sweet old
God
lady's
damn.
dish in his hand.
Yeah, just it was not did not hit for me at all. Turning my fat nose up at that bullshit. But you know, and she would tell us, she's like, well, that's how you live a long time. And like, well,
don't hit.
No, if you ain't gonna be hitting for any of that time, then fuck it.
Dude, I just very recently, and this is not good, like it took me 33 years to finally get over the whole like, well, look, listen, I'd rather live to 62 and do every goddamn thing that I want to do than live to fucking 85 and have to eat granola. You know what I mean? Like, I've absolutely had that attitude until 4 months ago. And now, like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I like stuff that hits more, but like, some of these motherfuckers in our past, like, our, you know, poor mama cat and all, they just kept going. You know what I mean? They just kept going.
Son, Mama Ding Ding didn't go. I mean, I had a bit about it. She would limp to the freezer to get her Mayfield ice cream and make her biscuits and then eat her dessert. Limp.
She made biscuits with Mayfield ice cream?
What's that?
She made biscuits with ice cream?
No, I'm just saying these are the things she ate.
Oh.
It was biscuits in the morning, sweet tea and ice cream in the afternoon.
Of course.
Every day. And she had a foot. God damn it. She had a foot with no toes on it.
Oh.
Because of diabetes.
They didn't just take the whole foot. They were just like,
Sugar took her toes,
buddy.
Speedboat.
Oh man, all them piggies went to market.
yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Man, I wish that we were us three, this podcast, us as a group, comedy group, were like smart and enterprising. Because Drew, what was it you said? If your papa's alive, your grandma couldn't cook. Is that what you said? That's such a great T-shirt. That'd be such a wonderful T-shirt, but we're never.
We could easily get somebody to put that on a T-shirt.
I know we could. That's how stupid we are. We could easily do it. We will not do it.
But I spent like $400 making 5 Gypsy Speedboat T-shirts just to give them to y'all.
Yeah, that's true. Amber wore mine the other night to sleep, and I got a little hard. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, yeah.
The hit for me. Nice ringer tee with some big ass titties.
She's wearing my band's T-shirt, Gypsy Speedboat top hit.
Why was you talking about smelling cigarette smoke on people's clothes and stuff?
We had said
mammas still.
Yeah,
like,
I don't. Drew had just went upside my head with something.
Talking about coffee.
What was it? The sentence. Hey,
Mama Cat only smelled like cigarettes and coffee, so like I could see how that might have all been connected.
Say the sentence that you said to me that tripped me the fuck up.
Oh no!
Say it to Trey about India.
Oh. I read an article a few years ago. Apparently, Coca-Cola had surpassed tea sales in India.
Mm-hmm.
And Corey thought.
I thought this motherfucker meant like the shit AIDS patients have. Like, what? Tea sales, motherfucker. Like, dude, I'm a little high, and I thought, dude, I swear to God,
I didn't even follow.
Dude, it didn't even cross my mind that it was anything else. Like he said, Coca-Cola has surpassed tea sales in India, and I was like, either Coke is hitting or India is in bad fucking shape.
Yeah, so you mean you thought their blood was made up more of Coca-Cola than tea sales at this point in time?
No, I guess I just thought that they had a collective very low T cell count, and there were more Cokes.
Real high Coca-Cola count.
Yeah, like all that. Just I'm a little high, and it just hit me on, and it took me like obviously that's the dumbest shit that you could think after someone says what Drew said, but I firmly believed it for like 3 whole seconds, and was
didn't just think I said it. He got upset by the news, Trey.
Oh man, I hate to hear that about India.
Dude, I was about to say that.
Anyway, back to coffee.
Yeah.
So no, I don't remember why we were talking. Oh, we were talking about nostalgic sense and how coffee is a bit much. and how he wanted a coffee smelling candle, and I said that I like the faint smell of a cigarette. I think it does. I think the faint smell of a cigarette, I'm just like, oh, where's the lunch lady? You know what I mean? Like, it just reminds me of being home. Like, just like not a full on cigarette, just like somebody smoked right here like an hour ago.
This is, again, just fucking, hey, it was the 90s in the South. What are you going to do? But like talking about Mama Cat, as a fat fuck little kid, I loved the way her cigarette smelled. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, I want one of those.
I bet
real
you did.
bad.
I bet you did.
They put something in them. All the nicotine, I guess, makes it hit. I don't know. They put they wanted kids to smell that.
Of course
go,
they do.
Give me that, and it worked on me because I just sit there staring. Because we're in she lived in the projects of Salina, like a tiny little apartment. She's just in there hot boxing it with all of her grandkids all goddamn down.
Other people's grandkids.
Drinking a 32. Yeah, half of them's dead or in jail now. Weird how that works too. But no, drinking coffee out of a 32 ounce fucking like trucker thermos and just chain smoking Winston Reds, dude. Winston full flavors. And it hit for me.
I can't believe she's dead.
I'm so grossed out in retrospect thinking about it. At the time though, I loved it. I thought it smelled great in there. I loved it was all that mixed with fucking fish grease and shit.
Yeah.
It was
I bet it was never not fish grease.
Do what?
That smell of fish grease that's like hard to go away. I bet it just always smelled like a restaurant at Mama Cat's house.
Mama Cat ran Cat's Cafe, a restaurant on the square in Salina. And her apartment smelled just like the back of the restaurant, which is all that stuff we just said. It was, nostalgic as fuck. If I smelled her apartment right now, bring a tear to my eye. Not because I'd be, choking and shit.
Right.
Like eyes watering type of tear. Like a heart-filled tear.
Me and DJ have a new recurring bit that I think you guys will get immediately, where he was talking about how it's sometimes hard to talk about the red and the way he wants to. Yeah. Like, because it's hard to express to other people how funny it is.
Right.
And not
when
just
you hear
scary.
them. Well, right. When you hear the people on the Wonderful Whites of West Virginia go, they took her baby.
It's
so hilarious. Me and him now, about every 10 minutes, one of us just go, they took her baby.
Yeah. Right. Well, y'all, DJ texted about that, and I texted this story, which is true. When I was like, my sons are 8 and 9 now. When the oldest one was a baby, so almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago, so a while ago. In my house, I grew up in Salina, across the street, the family that had lived across the street for years, the girl who was around my age, she had a baby, and they had took her baby away, and what that meant was, we got all of that baby food because her grandma was like, well, we ain't got no baby no more. Y'all got a baby, right? You need this baby food.
Roll Tide.
Me mom was like, hell yeah, they need that baby food. Me mom called me anyway. Like, I'm saying, when we found out, we was like popping bottles. They're like, hey, they took our baby away. Look at all this free baby. Yeah. They call that the hookup, like we were happy about it. And I had already started doing stand-up at that time, like very freshly started doing stand-up at that time. And what you, DJ, said what you just said, and I told you that story, and I said, which is true, at the time, I tried to turn that into a stand-up bit.
Didn't hit.
And it never hit. The general response was always
oh my God.
That's real fucked up and sad. And I'm up there dancing. Meat in a jar, baby, meat in a jar.
Because they took her baby is undeniably one of the 5 or 6 saddest sentences in the world.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
But it's so goddamn fun.
That hilarious. Baby, Drew.
She didn't need no baby.
She didn't need no baby.
That baby was better off, and y'all were better off for having that goddamn baby's food. You'd think they would have taken the baby's food with it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, come here and get this goddamn baby. We're keeping the fucking food, though. We're going to give it to Trey.
Yeah. Oh, that is what happened, though. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Yeah, I remember. It's like I said that bitch don't need no baby. That was a play off of y'all remember Bob? I called him Bob. His name wasn't Bob. Big gay Bob, the guy's monkey took away.
Oh yeah, poor Bob.
Yeah, and Barb also a food man. Barb at the time was all over Bob's Facebook saying, that bitch don't need no monkey, Bob.
Dude,
go in there and get your goddamn monkey back.
For those of you that don't know what Trey's talking about, he's referring to a story that we broke. Well, Trey broke on our. Did you break it on the Tiger King podcast?
Oh shit, I forgot it. Yeah,
but what my point is
I think
that
I talked about it on here too. Whatever, it was that
Maybe.
Tiger King or the podcast, whatever. But it got told
it seems like that was
years ago,
both years ago and yesterday.
Yesterday,
but
I
like
know, yeah,
mainly
that's
years
2024,
ago.
which is
Somebody
gone.
pointed out, they were like, man, it's crazy. This is obviously, this is January 4th now. This was back in December. Somebody was like, man, isn't it crazy that like y'all did that Tiger King podcast this year? And I was like, yes, very much so. And that was too, we were like, you know what? I guess if we're going to have to be in quarantine a couple more weeks,
we better find something to do.
we better find something to do.
That's
And
exactly what it was like. Yeah,
I
that
know,
was
like, had
real
we
early
known
in
that this was going to
quarantine.
take forever, we'd just been like, well, we're not doing
We
this.
ain't got to do nothing. we can just go back to not doing shit. That was hitting just fine. Yeah, you're 100% right too. We absolutely would have done exactly that. Had we known, we'd be like, no, hell no.
This how, no, fuck that.
On that note, should we?
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Well, no, I was gonna say we have another thing we're working on in that vein.
What?
Yeah, you know, that's up to you.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, dude. I'm a little high, and that fucking just got all over
No,
me.
you know what? That's a good tease. This is a cliffhanger,
Okay.
folks.
I
Tune in
did
next
wanna-
week and we'll make a huge announcement.
Yes,
There you go.
Okay, that hits me. Tune in next week. Although I want to do something, but I wanted to do it at this point so anyone who wants to leave can leave, because I'm dying to spend like 5 minutes talking about the new Wonder Woman movie. But
Okay.
Drew, I know you ain't seen it, and now anybody that's listening, if you don't want spoilers for Wonder Woman or whatever, if you give a shit about that, then you should just leave. But
Yeah.
I'm dying to talk about it.
I'm gonna give you.
Me too.
I'm gonna give you your 5 minutes, and I'm never gonna watch it, so I'll hang out just to hear you talk.
Okay.
He said, and for the 18 millionth time of his life. But Corey, not even being serious, I just want to know what the mood is in Georgia 2 days before the runoff. No clue.
Again, as I've answered pretty much every time someone's asked me at any point during this year, what's the mood like in Georgia? I don't fucking know because I ain't going out there. You know what I mean? Like,
Didn't you say you saw some signs in your hometown?
Signs, why? Okay, yes. That's just as far as that goes now. And I told y'all that during the the actual election, like the Trump election, that one, presidential one, that's what it's called. Corey, you fucking it. During that main one, that big one we had.
Begging they do.
During the main
They had
event.
they had the Super Bowl of elections. That one. I saw a couple Biden Harris signs, and to me, I'm like, man, it's like, you know, I related it to that bit that Dave Chappelle did about like, there's a serial rapist and he's been accused of raping 7 men. Well, he must have raped thousands, because that's a hard conversation for them men to have. I felt the same way. I was like, if 2 people felt comfortable putting them signs up, then there's probably 25 people that didn't. Maybe. I mean, I don't know what math you can use on that. It's called imaginary math. Yeah. But I saw some Ossoff signs, and a couple in like pretty prominent areas in Chickamauga. And my point is,
It's
like,
still the white one.
yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, trust me, Warnock's still having a hard time of it here. But like, my point is like the fact that people around this area are comfortable enough doing that means that I think to them, they're like, we've been talking and we think this is going to go a certain way. So we don't give a fuck if they know now, you know, because like, dude, even me, I'm one of the most outspoken motherfuckers y'all know, let alone period, from this town. And even me here, like, I get nervous sometimes about shit being in my yard, or like I'm afraid I'm gonna get egged or like punched or some shit. So like, and I like, I don't, I'm saying like, I'm just saying there's, you know, these little old liberal ladies, you can break them motherfuckers in half. You know what I mean? Like, I could see shutting the fuck up, you know, like I can whoop a motherfucker's ass. I still shut the fuck up. So y'all I'm high, boy. I'm high.
Yes,
Y'all know what I'm
Me,
saying?
I'm tough, but these old ladies, they ain't shit.
Yeah, and I mean, you're a little old mama if thought how you whip her ass. Well, think about that.
You ever seen
go
her?
up in there, just whip her ass, take that sign.
It ain't even like, it ain't a Mama Cato lady either. Like, it's one of the skinny bitches.
So
Yeah.
anyways, so I seen them. I saw those scene. I saw them signs, and also, you know, we got the new pride flag on my street that somebody's put up. So, like, I think what has happened is a bunch of the folks who left Chickamauga to go be gay in California had to move home during the pandemic. You know what I mean? And now they're here putting up their rainbows and their off-soft signs. But either way, they're up. And also, if you couple that with the fact that Donald Trump is literally telling people not to vote, like, I don't know. It seems like a perfect storm for these fucking idiots to lose.
Cautiously optimistic.
Me too.
I don't want to jinx anything. I agree with everything you just said. I think you're 100% right about all that. But yeah, I just don't. I still hesitate to, you know, be too excited or too optimistic. Of course, I certainly hope so.
Right.
All right, so starting right now, Wonder Woman spoilers. Turn it off if you care about Wonder Woman spoilers.
It's impossible to spoil this movie, I think.
Joe,
I'm going to get water.
Did she rape a guy or not? Like, do you
think she raped that guy?
Wonder Woman raped a man, and you know, like, look, who gives a shit?
I wrote down a couple things actually, and I didn't even know you was going to talk about this on here. Let me get my notes.
Again, I'm presupposing in this conversation, if you're listening to us, you've seen the movie, but so I'm saying, like, here's how I feel about it. I feel like, look, it's a fucking Wonder Woman movie. Every other single thing about it is ridiculous.
Okay.
80% of it don't make no goddamn sense.
No.
So
well, in that
considering
movie,
all that, is it silly to even take the storyline with her boyfriend serious enough to say, oh, that's rape?
I mean, probably.
I think that's fair.
I mean, probably.
But if you're being objective about what happens in it, though, I don't know how you could literally possibly make an argument that it wasn't rape, because it's a real dude. Yeah. It's a real dude with a real life and a real body who gets his consciousness taken away so Chris Pine can live in his body for a while. And he wakes back up later. He wakes back up to his normal life in that interim period while he was unconscious, but his body was up and running around.
Yeah.
He got fucked, literally. He got his ass whipped in the White House in front of cameras. So, like, he's a terrorist now.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he didn't have no choice in none of that. Like, why not just make Chris Pine come back to life? It's a magical wishing rock. I know. Make him come back. Why even do all that if you're not going to address any of that shit that I just said?
Absolutely. None of that made sense. Like, the whole first off, the movie starts with a goddamn. Let's say this first off. The first movie Wonder Woman really hit for me.
Yeah, I liked it.
Really hit for me. So that's the thing, is that, like, tonally, I understand, like, okay, Thor Ragnarok was a little different tonally than the other two Thors, mainly because the other two Thors didn't really hit.
Right.
That's why. So they kind of went in this crazy different direction, and they let a new director come in.
I was about to say, new directors, new team, too.
And that happened.
Not the case for Wonder Woman.
Right. Not the case for Wonder Woman. And also, the first Wonder Woman did hit.
Yeah. So, yeah, right. And it's the same people.
Right. So why on God's, if you've established this is the tone that Wonder Woman's going to have, this kind of dark, but like more realistic, gritty thing that like Christopher Nolan was able to do in the DC universe and make it work. They did that with Wonder Woman. It worked. It was great. Then to me, they were sort of doing like, okay, let's go with more of a Doctor Strange kind of Thor Ragnarok tone for this one, but out of nowhere for no reason. And then now all these rules established in the first one's like, well, none of that shit matters because there's a fucking wishing rock. First off, we got another comic book movie where they're chasing a stone. Awesome. Secondly, it's a wishing to make a wish. Right. Now, I would like to say something for anybody listening going like, I don't know, I kind of liked it. First off, you wild. Secondly, Pedro Pascal was still acting his motherfucking ass off, son.
I thought Chris Pine was really good.
Everybody did good. Yeah, honestly, not one of the actors is to blame for this movie being bad. Everybody in it was fine. Kristen Wiig was fine as the cheetah. Yeah. There's no goddamn point for the cheetah is one of Wonder Woman's main fucking villains, like ever, and she's a goddamn side story and shit.
She also is, and now like I want to give this movie the benefit of doubt in so many places, and this is one of them. What I'm about to say, because it's like, okay, were they doing some kind of John Hughes movie homage thing because it was the '80s? But like,
Right.
Cheetah is also, she's like the girl in the paint covered overalls, the
Yeah.
ponytail. You know what I mean? She's like, oh, no one likes me. Boys don't like
Eeyore.
me. No, and it's like Eeyore, and it's like. And then she just like lets her hair down.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God,
Takes off the
fucking
glasses.
gorgeous. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
it takes off her glasses. Yeah. And it's like, that's just, I just can't believe that I don't know that. And then her big Breaking Bad moment as the cheetah was not a Breaking Bad moment, in my opinion. She beat the shit out of a dude who tried to rape her twice. Like,
right.
That's okay.
Dude,
you can do that. That's fine. You're not a villain. That's not a villain move. Like,
no.
They played it like this is the scene where she becomes a villain. And it's like, no.
She sees Leon, her homeless friend.
Right.
And she goes, what is going on? She's just like, mind your fucking business, Leon. It's like, if you'd have just told Leon, this dude a couple nights ago tried to rape me, he'd been like, I'm glad you beat that motherfucker's ass. That's awesome. Should we call the cops?
When Leon walked up, I thought she was going to end up snapping and like accidentally killing him or something, because that would be a villain moment.
And it would have hit.
But this drunk rapist getting what-furred by her, like that ain't.
That was
That's
fine.
not a villain moment. That's fine.
She didn't even kill him.
I
this
know.
Is way better than the movie.
Dude, at like how many times did you audibly go, what the fuck is going on right now?
That scene in the desert where she's in that convoy and she like swings out to save those kids, and she absolutely killed those kids on the concrete, because the way she like grabs them and slams kid first into the concrete, barrel rolls at 80 miles an hour. And then these little Arab kids get up and they're like waving flowers and shit. By the way, she did that to avoid this convoy of armored vehicles that were coming down the road. She did that in the event. They just went around them. Like, she stayed in the middle of the road with the kids. Like, am I making sense here, Drew? There were kids playing in the road. First of all, how dumb are these fucking kids?
Them out of the she didn't even take them out of the road.
Kids playing in the road. It's like these kids don't know how to play car, game on. Like, they don't have that in Iraq or whatever, apparently in the 80s. These kids are playing
water cars.
She swings out to save them and just lands in the road with them again, very violently. And then the convoy just like drives around them. Like, it was the most pointless, ridiculous fucking thing.
Also,
was this added in because Gal Gadot is considered very, very anti-Middle East?
Oh, this movie was too.
Yeah,
it
didn't work.
They had this oil chic, like fucking
who ends up basically wishing for the Gaza Strip. On a wishing stone, and then it fucking just happens because Pedro Pascal finds this ancient wishing stone, right? He wishes. He decides you know how like the old like
want to see that movie and that movie alone.
You know the old like I'm gonna wish for more wishes. Well, he thinks of a dumber thing to do, which is when he gets it, he wishes to become it. So he himself is the wishing stone. So in order for him to get what he wants, he has to have people touch him and then have them say the thing that they wish for, and then he can grant it and then take away their shit because it's a monkey paw thing.
Okay, right. Okay. Yes. Okay. It's a monkey's paw situation.
And by the way, how do you know it's a monkey paw situation? They said it 7 times.
They also got told it by a Mayan shaman living in New York, played by an Indian guy whose name was Frank Patel, and had a goddamn Mayan book of secrets or whatever. And they don't, if you're thinking, oh, well, I'm sure they make all that sort of make sense. No, they don't.
Where was the wishing stone before he got it? Just in Kristen Wiig's office.
Right.
Who's evil?
The monkey.
Not really.
Paw,
but she didn't use it, is my point. She had it and just didn't
use it. She did. She wished she once she figured out what it was.
She wished dudes would stop raping her.
No, she wished to be more like Diana, and that turned her into a superhero.
Who's Diana?
Wonder Woman.
Then, like, oh God, dude, there were so many times where it's like they did this ridiculous stuff, and in my head, I'm like, why didn't you just do X instead. Like, for example, the part at the end, like the way there's two options. You can either destroy the stone, which now that he has become the stone, that means you got to kill Pedro Pascal, which, hey, who don't love Pedro Pascal? I get that that's hard. But you can either kill Pedro Pascal, or every person who has been granted a wish has to renounce their wish. Say to the universe, I renounce my wish. So at the end, he's broadcasting across the entire world on a satellite system, telling them, if you make a wish, I'll grant it right now. So 7 billion people are making wishes. People are wishing dead relatives to come back. People are wishing their cancer away. But because it's a monkey's paw, this is also ending the world at the same time. So Wonder Woman's got to stop that. She gets on the broadcast and gives them a heroic follow your heart speech. And apparently every single goddamn one of those 7 billion people renounced their wish and everything was fine. Even though it had showed multiple times in the movie, he tricked people into making wishes they didn't even know they had made. How can you renounce a wish you didn't even know you made it? Corey, and this is what I'm saying. Why not? If you don't want to have Wonder Woman kill the guy, fine. Okay. You refuse to have her kill the main villain. That's okay. Why not have it just be to where if he renounces his wish, he undoes everything. So you only have to convince one guy, not 7 billion. And he did.
You know how when you get something like electronic and it's made in China and you go to read the instructions and like it don't make it's in English, but it ain't really making no sense, and it kind of says the opposite. Well, who translated this to most of the world when she made this announcement?
Right. Yes. They literally show it's implied that everyone's making wishes and then everyone renounces them, but they show a fucking insurgent in the desert wish for his own nuclear weapon.
Yes.
Hear Wonder Woman's heroic speech, look to the camera and say in Arabic, I renounce my wish, whatever, and his fucking nuclear weapon goes away.
What?
Yes, I swear to God. Also,
this is the worst movie of all time.
Oh, it's something else. So let me, for those of you who decided to listen but aren't going to watch the movie, when we say that people said renounce their wish, we very much mean verbatim. And also, just to give you kind of more of an example of what that sounded like in the movie, if you remember the episode of The Office where Michael Scott has to declare bankruptcy, and so he just walks out and goes, I declare bankruptcy!
It's exactly like
but I renounce my wish, and everyone's
exactly
like the fucking climax of the movie is Pedro Pascal with his eyes bleeding because he has become the living embodiment of a monkey paw going, I renounce my wish! And then the world fucking like resets. It was, dude, it was so what an insane drop off from the first one. I don't get.
Again, this monkey's paw wishing stone that is now Pedro Pascal, it can materialize out of thin air, a fucking Great Wall of Egypt, a literal gigantic wall that separates Egypt. Nuclear weapons hurtling through the air. It can manifest out of nowhere. But it can't just bring dead Chris Pine back to life. He has to somehow get put into another dude's body.
Makes no sense.
You might think, well, it's a monkey's paw, though. That's the thing. That's the conflict.
Right.
Which would be, I actually think that would have hit.
That would have been fine.
If they would have dealt with that.
Yeah, but they didn't.
If either one of them, Chris Pine or Wonder Woman, gave any indication that they understood how fucked up that was, like if they had dealt with it, if he would have been like, look, we can't do that. This is not my body. Like, this dude has a life. I can't, this is wrong. Like that would have been interesting, but they didn't do any of that. They just raped him. And so if you're not going to do any of that at all, she had sex with this dude in this other guy's body, and then the other guy, he got his body back after that. So it's like he blacked out. It's like he blacked out for 36 hours, and when he came to, he had been had sex with, beat the fuck up, wanted for murder. He's a terrorist now.
Literal terrorist
now.
It's like somebody got your wife's heart, so you just think you should be able to fuck that person.
Right, and I'm saying that's a weird thing for Wonder Woman to not think about,
right?
Or Chris Pine, and so I go back to, if you're not going to do any of that, which they didn't, they just ignored it completely, then why even put him in another dude's
Makes
body?
No sense.
Just wish him out of thin air like you did the nukes and the wall.
Also, as my buddy,
why?
as my buddy Matt Coon over at Through the Screen Door podcast pointed out to me before I watched the movie, he said, get ready for the president of the United States to yada yada teleportation, which which he did. But like, also now that I'm thinking about it, because that was supposed to be Reagan. And because you see
that guy didn't hit.
No, he didn't hit. But I was like, are they trying to do Reagan? Then I looked over and I saw this huge thing of jelly beans. So I was like, they're definitely trying to do Reagan. But like, if I think about it now, it was an Alzheimer's joke. Because so what happens is Pedro Pascal, he wishes to have a meeting with the president, but he doesn't transport to the White House. The whole White House just transports to him. And he's sitting there and he's face to face with Reagan. And Reagan's like, wait a minute. I'm in a different place. And he's like, huh? No, you're what? And he goes, and then Reagan just goes, hectic day. That was it. Like that was the whole thing. Like it was, he just teleported and he's like, oh, fucking being the president, kind of wild, ain't it? And then, and then he made him shoot nukes at, I don't remember what it was.
Alzheimer's joke because Reagan got Alzheimer's?
Reagan, there in his later years of presidency, they were saying that he was suffering from early onset Alzheimer's, and that's why he was becoming very, very forgetful and shit like that. And so to me,
Flo would ask us where RL was. RL left my mama Flo when she got Alzheimer's, and that was very painful. At some point, though, we just realized if we just wait,
she'll forget.
Like just don't answer, she'll forget she asked us.
Yeah, there's parts of it that hit.
Also, what about that fucking jet plane? So she works at
Oh
the
my
Smithsonian.
fucking God.
She works at the Smithsonian.
Dude.
They need to get to Egypt. Luckily, the Smithsonian has a fueled up, fully operational F-18 with a runway, an air traffic control tower, and a World War I pilot who knows how to fly that all the way to Egypt from DC. And they just get in this jet and just fly to Egypt and back. And don't address none of that. Wonder Woman famously has an invisible jet. She makes it invisible just because Wonder Woman has an invisible jet, but they don't ever like use none of that again. And it's like,
speaking of her making stuff, how about she taught herself to fly? She taught herself to fly.
And then stopped flying.
I know.
She taught herself to fly and then stopped flying and started lassoing fucking lightning bolts and shit. And it's like, why are you doing that if you can fly now? Also, this takes place before Justice League and all that shit, and it's like she would have been
flying.
Did they let like a bot write this?
No, it's this. I don't know about the writer.
It kind of seems like that,
but it's the same director that's so lauded and acclaimed
that like picks out what trends, and it always becomes racist or whatever. But like picks out what's trending. It feels like this is some sort of superhero Mad Lib.
It's
like we took every scene from every action film.
You're right. But here's why. Not because it was a bot or a robot. I guarantee you this script is a Frankenstein's monster of the 30 different scripts that they had versions of from 30 different writers in this process, because that's what happens. They bring in somebody to write it, they end up getting the credit, but then they rewrite it with another guy because they're like, oh, this don't hit. He takes some stuff out, leaves some stuff in, still don't hit. They bring in a team, they put a bunch of script doctors in a room together with the script. They're like, y'all fix this shit. And it just gets like fucking chipped away at and changed and shit. And then at the end of the day, the director can take whatever's left and throw any of it out, add anything in, whatever. And you can just, I feel like you can tell, but for the reasons you just said, that it's a bunch of different drafts of the same general script. Like this was a holdover from a previous draft, but we lost. Like I saw a theory that said Chris Pratt.
But don't that work sometimes?
Yeah. I mean, that's what big budget Hollywood movies always are. And sometimes it works great.
So what, like that,
sometimes
to me, then that doesn't explain how it happened here.
Because I think when it works, they do a better job of like disguising that is what happened.
Are you blaming the director? It's fine if you are. I'm just trying to figure out what you mean.
I mean, I don't know who else you could blame. Corey, no. All right, let's say fuck it.
I'm about to die.
We can say fuck it. Corey got to pay, and I've
so bad
and raved enough. But I watched that movie like on Christmas night or the night after, and I've been wanting to talk about it ever since because it blew my mind with how insane it is. And Corey just watched it.
It sounds terrible.
Yeah, I kind of recommend it.
I know. I
like in a bad way. Yeah. It sounds like a cult classic.
No, we're actually we're about to talk about it on my other podcast, Through the Screen Door, in like in a larger segment, and that's why I watched it last night. And Coon texted me, and I was texting him all this shit, and he's like, "I'm so glad that you fucking hate this movie too." And I was like, I don't think I hate it. It's just it's just
I'll
wild.
tell you
Like,
this, I can't stop thinking about it, and
I
it's
could-
wild as hell. Like I said,
Yeah.
I almost weirdly kind of recommend it.
Me
to
too.
people because
I'm gonna
it's
take
so
Aston and
out
watch it.
there. It's
yeah,
like,
I think if I watched it again, I'd be like, well, I mean, that was fun. Because that's the thing. It was fun.
it
Like,
was fun.
all
Yeah.
over the goddamn place. So, like, I don't know. It's just, it's convoluted and fucking
Rape.
out there. But, like,
What did you say? A landed child first? How did you phrase that?
She scooped him up and then landed child first at 8
Yeah.
miles an hour on the asphalt, and then they just got up and hugged her or whatever.
I'm gonna do Aston and watch it.
Ridiculous. Anyway, all right. Thank y'all for joining us. See you next week. Love you. Bye. Skew.
thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do.
Woo.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
you.
Good night and skew. Fuck a butt. Bye.
Bye.
They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread, but sex they care